2 Ezra 15:15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Call Halal Yahweh Bashem Abishai, Bashem Wakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners. And to the Akwaf that are listening and learning. To you, I say Shalom. And this is your brother Malcolm coming at you with another lesson.
As the international community pleaded with Armenia and Azerbaijan to stop fighting, they did the opposite. Now, in its fourth day, violence is increasing in the disputed region of Nagorno-Karabakh, and it threatens to spread outside the immediate conflict zone. In Azerbaijan, Bada is more than a dozen kilometers from the front line, but the sound of shelling reverberates through the town. Men have crowded outside conscription officers in the capital Baku, ready to be sent to battle.
No, there is no fear. Our country needs us. We'll go as far as necessary for our country.
Nagorno-Karabakh is internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan, but is controlled by Armenian forces. When the dispute began in the early 1990s, many of these men were not born.
We were waiting for this day. I hope we'll liberate Karabakh. I hope all our soldiers return safely.
In Armenia...
See, let me just say that this current generation, this get a trophy, even though you lost generation, the helmet-wearing bicycle adults, that generation are the softest that mankind has ever seen. All right? They've never really had to endure conflict. And see, I actually trained jiu-jitsu with a guy who was from this region of the world during the time of these conflicts. All right, he's a black belt. We both were well, I won't say where we came from, because you know you got those trolls out there start trying to track us down. But nevertheless, you know, the nice guy, man. Yeah, I enjoyed training with him and having him as a training partner. All right, because he was so tall, so long, he always produced a problem just because of his length. So you had to adjust to his reach. But nevertheless, this guy just once broke down and told me when we were training on the mats, we were like done training. And he told me that he used to think something was wrong with him because he was so cold. You know, that he didn't care about anything until he met his wife and had children. And he told me that when he was a kid, though he just saw so much death that he became numb to death. That they would play soccer in fields, and they would actually take the dead bodies to set them up to be goals. The dead bodies were you kicked the ball in between those two dead bodies. And the dead bodies were used as the boundaries, and they were kids playing under these circumstances. This spoiled, soft generation has no idea what's about to happen to it and what's coming. The threat of these the civil war that's coming in eventually, that could possibly kick off around the time of these elections, shortly before, during, or after, because it is coming. All right, the global food shortage, which is going to hit America hard, which we've been warning you about, and most of you took all the stimulus money and went out and bought jewelry and Jordans. You didn't buy no food, no seeds, you didn't stockpile water, canned goods, rice and beans, none of that.
Yeah, there were long lines too after Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan called all men into military service. The UN Security Council repeated calls from Russia, France and the US to stop the sign-up and step back for talks. Yet the leaders show little interest in negotiation.
It's very hard to talk about negotiations, especially about their contents, when specific military operations are underway.
It's not clear how this fighting began on Sunday, but Armenia and Azerbaijan blame each other. Azerbaijan says it is retaking towns and territory it lost in the 1990s. Armenia says it is repelling Azeri advances. Both countries say they are now at war. Armenia also alleges Turkey is supporting Azerbaijan in the battle, claiming a Turkish F-16 fighter jet shot down an Armenian warplane inside Armenia.
And see, the reason why Russia, the U.S., and other European nations are pleading with these people to back down, because they aren't ready for this yet. They got their own things going on. But see, the Lord is mixing things up, man. He's throwing a monkey wrench in their plans, because both of these countries have connection to different allies that could bring NATO and the EU versus Russia, China, and its constituents. All right. So that's the reason why they're so upset about this, and they're trying to get these people to stop fighting, but they don't want to stop fighting because this hatred goes back. You know, I remember watching a movie about it when the guys took one village. All right. And he said, we're going to rape and fuck their mothers like they raped and fucked our mothers. So I'm listening to him. I'm like, damn. Well, shit, y'all brothers right about now then. This shit is crazy. But this is where we're going.
In airspace on Tuesday. Turkey is backing Azerbaijan, but both countries say it is moral support with no military assistance.
Man.
F-16 planes of the Turkish Air Force do not participate in combat by any means. Today, new technologies make it difficult to hide something due to objective means of surveillance. That's why it's very easy to see this as just another provocation.
Provocations that have drawn Armenia and Azerbaijan into a violent confrontation with rising stakes. Charlotte Bellis, Al Jazeera.
And on the front line and the areas around it, civilians are being caught in the crossfire. Sinin Kosioglu is in Tatar, a city in Azerbaijan.
You trying to have tea and crumpets, man, and rockets are landing in your house and in your front yard, man. Shooting shrapnel and killing your children, your family, your mother, your grandmother.
Around 8 a.m. local, a rocket from Armenian side hit right the city center of Tartar. Tartar is one of the largest regions, as the Azeris call, regions surrounding Nagorno-Karabakh up on the northeast. And the rocket fell very close to a public infrastructure building, which is 20 or 30 meters away, right behind the corner. There were civilians here. Locals tell us that 7 civilians were injured, and one of them already died at the hospital. And they say that they are thankful the rocket didn't fully explode. You see a car here parked. It has been also damaged. And Nadir, the owner of the car, is going to tell us what happened this morning. Nadir Bey, anlatır mısınız ne oldu?
Bəli, ben maşını parkeladım, saxladım. İçindeki sərnişinlər düşdü. Düşən kimi bir 3 dəqiqə keçməmiş partlayış baş verdi.
Tamam, çok teşekkür ediyorum Nadir Bey. Nadir says to us that there were other civilians here, and thank God his car was already parked here. He says at least 15 people were able to hide behind the car. That's how they rescued their lives. And he says, I can sacrifice my car as long as the civilians are rescued. And he says the Azeris will win the battle and actually repel the occupiers. And here in my hand, there are the fragments of the rocket that hit Tartar city center that has been already evacuated in the last couple of days. And
so, man, you know what? Let's just go to the scriptures and finish this. This is Matthew 24, and let's start at verse 6. And it reads, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places, all which are happening, by the way. All these are the beginnings of sorrows. Hey, because that mosquito, that storm brought in those mosquitoes, where the mosquitoes were so heavy that the horses, the cows, the livestock was inhaling them and choking to death on them, because they were swarming around them, and when they would breathe, they would come into their mouth so heavily that it choked them to death. They choked on damn mosquitoes, man. These pestilence and this food thing is coming. All right. Just wanted to mention that. And that happened, what was that, about 2 weeks ago? Barely. All right. And it says, verse 8, all these are the beginnings of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. So that's next. They're going to start snatching up the elect, man, putting their hands on the elect, and once they do, then they got problems, because that's what's going to happen, man. They're going to start trying to snatch up the Israelites, and you don't get to just harm the elect and kill the prophets like was done in the past, man. All right. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. That's going on because you got guys that are trying to build in a place that war and famine and pestilence is surrounded. Okay. And it says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. People gonna be real cold when there's no food, man. Very cold. All right. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. So no one is saved until the end actually comes. So all those false prophets, those false Christian doctrines talking about I'm saved and saying, no, you're not. No one is saved until the end comes. All right. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And that's what's happening, because you can say what you want to say. Since the Hebrew Israelites have been on the airwaves, all these events have been taking place in the world like never before, bringing us up to the collapse of the mightiest country and the countries that second and third it all at the same time, because it's ushering in the kingdom of heaven. So with that, man, we're going to give all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh by Hashem Nahashai, by Hashem Rakak Wadash, Wa Abad Babal, and Shalom. Kwam Yasharala.